Okay, so everything in my brain, even this 8 years later, when I think I first voiced this on YouTube, has led me to believe that our heritage in the United States has been stolen from us. And today I had another confirmation from another YouTuber who, hang on, I'll tell you who he is. His name is Brian Reilly, and he does a series called Chicago Street Walking. And so he brought up the Trail of Tears. And so I did a little overview search here in AI. Now, Brian said something, I don't know if that's his name or not, but that's his channel name. He said something about, I believe it was the Trail of Tears is what he called it. And so he mentioned the Chicago fire. I knew about the Chicago fire myself, but it took me being an adult to kind of think about that a little more thoroughly. And as time has passed, and I always felt the separation within the country. It's kind of like church does some things similar, but the separation related to the Native Indians. It's like asked my grandparents if we had any Native Indian relatives, and the answer was always no. Well, Grandma actually, she said we're part of the melting pot. But the United States, in this AI overview, it talks about land disposition. The British colonization led to the initial disposition of Native American lands, establishing a pattern that continued after the U.S. gained independence. Treaties were often used as a tool to take advantage of the Indian tribes, with unequal agreements reached under pressure through deception. The U.S. government's westward expansion and the Indian Removal Act of 1830 forcibly relocated thousands of Native Americans from their ancestral lands, a journey known as the Trail of Tears, cultural genocide, and forced assimilation in the United States. The U.S. government implemented policies of forced assimilation aiming to eradicate Native American culture and languages. There it is, right there. Until this is resolved, the fractured spirit of the United States is always going to be here. This needs to be addressed right here. And I said this about 8 years ago because our culture has been stolen from us. Our true heritage has not been taught in the United States. This included establishing Indian boarding schools where Native American children were forcibly removed from their families, stripped of their languages and traditions, and often subject to abuse. I sometimes wonder about my grandpa because he went to what they called a Lutheran boarding school of some sort when he was a child. The Dawes Act of 1887 further aimed to assimilate Native Americans by dividing tribal lands into individual allotments.